Yeah, definitely.
He likes that loud voice.
Good evening, everybody. Today is Tuesday, June 17, 2025, and we welcome you here to a town board meeting. And if we could all please rise for the pledge. Councilman Kern, would you mind leading us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Barry. Councilman Rothwell, do we have somebody for the invocation?
So we are honored to be in the presence of Reverend Andrew Montoro from the Community Baptist Church. So Reverend, if you would please come forward for our invocation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we do come before you tonight, and Lord, we thank you for just the privilege of prayer and the privilege of knowing, Lord, that you have the answers for the problems that we're facing. Tonight, we do pray for wisdom for our leaders as they make decisions that affect each one of us. We pray that they would seek wisdom from you and you would guide them, Lord. We do pray for our community and just for peace in our community among one another as we seek to know and to do your will. We think of tonight even with honoring some of the CAP seniors, and we do pray for the seniors of Riverhead and those who have just graduated. We pray that they would be protected, that they would find, Lord, your purpose for their lives. We pray, Lord, for our police, our fire department, our first responders, that you'd keep them safe, that you'd protect them, give them the skill that they need. And we just pray, Lord, for Riverhead and the community here, that we could find your peace and your grace in knowing you more. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor.
Very, very nice.
Okay, under announcements, I have two quick announcements. One is Thursday, June 19th, Town Hall will be closed for Juneteenth. We will reopen again Friday at 8:30 in the morning. And Saturday, June 21st, will be the rescheduled highway event, Touch a Truck, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's at the Highway Yard on Osborne Avenue. It was canceled last Saturday because of weather, but this Saturday looks like it's going to be fantastic, so it should be a go. All right, first up we have for a certificate for the Labor Management Committee, we have an employee of the quarter, Miss Rachel Elwood, and if she would please come up with Lori Zaweski. Board, come on down.
Okay. Come on down.
Speak there, and we'll present and
Okay.
you're done.
It's a true honor to have nominated Rachel for Employee of the Quarter. Lisa Richards is my deputy. Since Rachel's been in the office just under 2 years, she has stepped up incredibly. The patience and the compassion that she shows to the residents, as we all know, people don't like to pay their taxes, and she is amazing with them. She has taken on every duty that we've given to her. She's learned it so quickly. She's almost completely cross-trained, can actually take over the office in our absence, and really we're just so happy to have her in our office and have her as part of our tax receiver family.
Excellent, excellent choice. Rachel, it says, I, Timothy Hubbard, Supervisor of the Town of Riverhead, together with the entire town board, proudly recognize Rachel Elwood for earning the designation of Employee of the First Quarter. The Employee of the Quarter program was established in order to provide a mechanism for the Town of Riverhead to recognize exceptional employees upon the recommendation of the Labor Management Committee. So on behalf of myself and the town board, we would like to present you with a certificate and congratulate you.
You have to join us for a picture.
Yes.
You guys should
We make it as painful as we can.
Come on, Lisa. Yeah. But give her the flowers first.
Stay here, Denise, and we'll just grab your... Oh, okay. Okay. Board, we can stay down here. We're going to do the cap.
Oh, okay. Good.
What we'd next like to do is give a certificate of recognition to the seniors at the Riverhead High School who have participated in the CAP program. This year it was an outstanding event. It was the 38th year that they had the CAP March from Pulaski Street. And the seniors are children that have been in the CAP program for years as mentors. And we just like to honor them to show that their community involvement is valued and that the youth of our town is some of our people that we can be very, very proud of. I'd like to give the recognition award to Isabella Dunn. I believe she's here tonight. Isabella, please step forward. Annabelle, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Isabella because she's leaving. I'll get to her in a minute. I'm so sorry. I'm going to use my glasses to read this. Please step forward. Annabella Dunn, Riverhead Community Awareness Program and Youth Coalition. I, Timothy Hubbard, Supervisor of the Town of Riverhead, together with the entire town board, proudly recognize Riverhead High School senior Annabella Dunn for outstanding community service to the town of Riverhead through dedicated efforts in the Riverhead Community Awareness Program, CAP, and the Riverhead Youth Coalition Program. Annabella's commitment to public service is commendable, and I urge the town board and all residents of the town of Riverhead to join in sustaining public awareness of this vital youth member of our community. Thank you very much, Annabella. I also recognize on the town board today the Reverend Montoro.
Yes.
Please step forward, Reverend, please. And also Cynthia Redmond. And would you come forward as well, Felicia? Okay. Felicia? Cynthia Redmond is another volunteer with the CAP program, and also Felicia, who is the coordinator of this. Cynthia? Oh,
You should be up.
I'm really messing up left and right tonight.
Come on, Felicia.
Okay, that's, yes. Okay. And I'd just like to give a farewell to Isabella, because she is leading the program after 3 years of service. She's done a wonderful job. We'd like to thank her for all of her efforts, for all the success in her. Thank you so much. As I sit down, I'll take the notes. Wait, there is. I'd like to also mention that there are several other seniors who have participated in the program, but due to a conflict of interest, even at this young age, they have conflicts of interest, they have a musical awards night presentation that coincided with this event, and they're attending that. The other names are Hamail Amin, Renate de Paz Abreu, Natasha Domingo Pascual, Madison Dupree, John Ellis, Selhvin, Galdamez, Maraquez, Simtia Gomez Avila, Addison, Kinnier-Gilliam, Adrianna Mosca, Brady Reynolds, Rowland, Gianna Viola, and Zaweski. Those are the other participants. We'd like to honor all of them. Thank you, Supervisor.
You're very welcome, thank you. Clerk Wooten, do we have any correspondence and reports tonight?
We do, and I just want to compliment you on your pronouncement of all those names.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I just want to make a brief announcement about the correspondence that you emailed to the town clerk. I found out today that for some reason, well, it's not, there is a reason, but the spyware that we have filtered in for government is very good. It makes sure that we don't get bugs and we don't get things in our system, which is very important. But because of that, some of the emails, correspondence that comes to the town clerk, gets filtered out and goes into a trash filter that I can't get. So, what I directed my staff and myself to do, every correspondence you send to the town clerk, you will get a reply that we received it, it was time-stamped in, it'll be circulated and made part of the record. If within a day you don't get a response from us, because we do it every day, Thanks for the call to us, all right? And we'll figure out a different way to get it to us. But it only happened on 2 occasions over the last month or so. So maybe it's a new filter or, but we appreciate the filter that's there. But just don't think that we're ignoring your correspondence. We just did not receive it. But the ones that we did receive, this last batch was, a lot had to deal with the motocross proposition up on River Avenue, pickleball courts and their need for maintenance, music choices for Riverhead, one letter about a hotel and condo. There was some concern about the Crown Fire that came in and the air quality that might surround that. And there was parking issues, a letter came in on Youngs Avenue. All of those letters can be read verbatim on the town website. If you go to the town board meeting and look at the agenda, you can read those verbatim. And that's all that came in under correspondence for the last 2 weeks. Under reports, we have the tax receiver collection as of June the 5th at $183,029,313.02. The tax receiver tax collection as of June 11th was $183,606,899.44. Riverhead Water District presented their 2024 annual water quality report, which is also online. The town clerk monthly report for May was $11,656.50. The building department monthly report for the month of May was $98,760.50. And the tax receiver presented their utility payments for the month of May at $335,864.30. And that completes the reports and the correspondence for this meeting.
Thank you. Okay, we have no public hearings tonight, so we're going to move right on to comments on resolutions. Anybody that would like to make a comment on a resolution, come up to the microphone at the podium, state your name, where you're from, and we will give you 3 minutes to make your comments on the resolutions. Any resolution that's on the agenda tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Kathy McGraw from Northville. I want to comment on the resolution giving final approval to Island Water Park. I thought it was odd that this wasn't a discussion at the last week's work session and that it was not included in the resolution packet until the very last minute. This is a hot issue in this town and deserves more notice to the public. In Resolution 460, which was adopted just a few weeks ago, the board gave a preliminary approval to the site plan to legalize the multiple additions at Scotts Point that were done illegally. Nothing new for this serial offender. In that resolution, you imposed 6 conditions that had to be met before final site plan approval. One of those was that Scotts Point had to obtain a freshwater wetlands jurisdictional determination from the DEC. This resolution tonight says this condition has been met by an email response from Kevin Jennings of the DEC 3 days ago, stating, quote, activities that took place before 1/1/25 would not have needed a freshwater wetlands permit at your site. Clearly, Scotts Point is the one that sent that email to the DEC posing the question. But just what did they ask? And how did they phrase the question? The answer they got, activities that took place at your site, wouldn't need such a permit. That's what the answer was. This answer leaves a lot of questions to be answered. What activities is Mr. Jennings referring to? All the illegal build-outs, or 1 or 2 of them, or 1 of them, or various entertainment activities at Scotts Point? That email is hardly a basis for deciding the condition for approval has been met. Another condition was that Island Water Park must fully reclaim the mine under its New York DEC permit and provide certification that the mine has been closed out. This resolution tonight says there is a June 13th, 2024, a full year ago, consent decree with the DEC that assessed penalties and provided a compliance schedule for reclamation of the mining site. And that decree, according to your resolution tonight, is adequate to meet this condition. That year-old consent decree, which was no doubt available to the town nearly a year before it set the condition last month that the mine be closed out, does not say the mine has been closed out. It is entirely inadequate. So why are you giving final approval to this site plan when at least 2 of your conditions have not been met? This board sometimes positions itself as being tough with Island Water Park. This approval is anything but tough. Just another cave-in to the serial offender. I hope you won't pass that resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so when this comes up, I'm going to recommend an amendment. It should say June 13th, 2025.
Right.
The consent order was entered into. And in sum and substance, the consent order indicates that the DEC is aware of the activities at the property and has no objection to the proposed activities, subject to Island Water Park's compliance with the terms of the consent order. Which, you know, in terms of reclaiming the mine, gives them additional time to vegetate the banks of the lake, and yeah.
Okay. I had a meeting yesterday afternoon with the state DEC Region 1 representatives, along with Assemblywoman Jody Giglio, and the DEC gave their full blessing to Island Water Park to continue to do what they're doing in terms of remediation, and that's what we required as a town board for them to do, to get authorization from the DEC. The DEC gave the authorization, hence we have the resolution on for tonight.
Barbara Blas, Jamesport. I know it's not the appropriate time for questions, but because they had a timeline, is it possible for the public to know exactly when they are permitted to swim in the lake?
Tomorrow.
As of June 13th, 2025.
Right.
So it's stabilized enough? They believe that it's safe enough?
They were comfortable enough with the current process and what's going on. They're also going to be monitoring to make sure that they finish up what they have to finish up, but they were comfortable to give permission for it to run full-scale operation.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else from the audience on any resolutions tonight? Do we have anybody online for tonight's resolutions? Nobody online? Okay, clerk, would you please read the resolutions?
Yes, we'll start with resolution number 1, which is resolution 511.
Just going to say in the next 3 resolutions, I'm very grateful on behalf of the Veterans Advisory Committee as well. The next 3 pertain to donations up at Veterans Memorial Park, so we are extremely grateful for Frank Bayrott and Delia Sod Farms for delivering mulch. We have planted now over 50 trees at Veterans Memorial Park, and they help dress up the whole site. George Gabrielson has been awesome with delivering flowers to decorate the whole site, just beautifying the whole location. And of course, Bianca Davis, that we had a flagpole installed over this weekend, so the flag is up and flying for Flag Day up at Veterans Memorial Park. So the next 3 resolutions, I'm just very grateful for beautifying our parks. Our first resolution ratifies acceptance of donation of mulch from Delia Sod Farm. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes, thank you.
Merrifield.
Yes, thank you very much.
Kern.
Yes, thank you.
Rothwell.
Yes.
And Hubbard.
Yes, thank you, Frank.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 512.
Ratifies acceptance of donation of flowers from Gabrielson's Farm. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes, thank you.
Merrifield.
Yes, thank you.
Kern.
Yes, thank you, George.
Rothwell.
Thank you again, yes.
And Hubbard.
Yes, thank you, George and his daughter. They did a great job.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 513.
Ratifies acceptance of donation of flagpole from Bianchi Davis Greenhouse. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes, thank you.
Merrifield.
Yes, thank you.
Kern.
Yes, thank you.
Rothwell.
Yes, also thank you to Building and Grounds who did the installation for the flagpole as well. Thank you very much, yes.
And Hubbard.
Yes, thank you very much.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 514.
Capital Project Number 82002, Town of Riverhead Comprehensive Master Plan Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 515.
Capital Project Number 72325, Wading River Swing Set Closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 516.
Capital Project Number 72220, Cupola at George Young Community Center closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 517.
Capital Project 71907, Weeping Willow Park closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 518.
Capital Project Number 44035, Downtown Revitalization LED Lighting Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 519.
Capital Project Number 44036, Downtown Revitalization LED Lighting Closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 520.
Capital Project Number 31901, Security Cameras closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 521.
Sewer District Capital Project 82230, Commercial Car Wash closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 522.
Sewer Capital Project Number 20017, EPCAL Sewer Improvement Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 523.
Town Hall Improvements Project Number 12223, 4-6 West 2nd Street Closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 524.
Water Capital Project Number 82411, East End Food Institute closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 525.
Capital Project 82327-105, Pier Avenue Hydrant closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 526.
Water Capital Project Number 82224, Holly Tree Subdivision Closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution's adopted. Resolution 527.
Water Capital Project Number 60092, Paula Edwards Avenue Realty LLC Closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution's adopted. Resolution 528.
Water District Capital Project Number 82408, 1792, Middle Road, Calverton, Breezy Hill Industrial closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 529.
Water District Capital Project 82318, 360 West Lane closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 530.
Water District Capital Project Number 82334, 4195 Middle Country Road closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 531.
Water District Capital Project Number 82336, 992 East Main Street closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 532.
Water District Capital Project Number 82319 Merritt's Creek Townhouses closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 533.
Water District Capital Project 82221, Riverhead Dodge closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 534.
Water District Capital Project Number 82207 U-Haul Facility closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 535.
Water District Capital Project Number 82205, North Point Development closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 536.
Water District Capital Project Number 82202 Purple Beach Realty LLC closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 537.
Water District Capital Project 82116, Calverton Industrial Park closure. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution's adopted. Resolution 538.
Water District Capital Project Number 82051 4285 Middle Country Road closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 539.
Appoints an intern to the Supervisor's Office. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 540.
Appoints new seasonal employees to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 541.
Ratifies the promotion of a wastewater treatment plant operator 3A to a senior wastewater treatment plant operator 3A. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 542.
Ratifies the resignation of an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 543.
Reappoints Brian Mills to serve as Chairman of the Board of Assessment Review. So moved.
We
Second.
need to, before we vote on this, I think we have to change a date on this.
We do.
On the first, now therefore be it resolved, effective May 20th, 2025. That has to go back to January 1st of 2025.
Make a
So
motion.
it'll amend from May 20th, 2025 to January 1st, 2025.
Motion to amend.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes to amend.
Merrifield.
Yes to amend.
Kern.
Yes to amend.
Rothwell.
Yes to amend.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Want me to reread it now?
Yes, please.
Reappoints Brian Mills to serve as Chairman of the Board of Assessment Review. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Absolutely. Brian does a great job. I served on this board with him, and I'm happy that he's still doing this. So, yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes. Thank you, Brian.
Resolution is adopted as amended. Resolution 544.
Approve special event Chapter 255 application for New Beginnings Community, Inc. Harvest Fair. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 545.
Approves fireworks application for Baiting Hollow Club, July 19th, 2025. So moved.
Second?
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 546.
Approves fireworks application for Riverhead Raceway, June 28, 2025. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 547.
Designates a parcel at 48 Willow Street, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-87-1-14, located in the town of Riverhead as open space, expends community preservation funds pursuant to Town Law 64E in the amount of $75,000, and approves budget transfer to restore trust and agency funds designated for the wetland restoration and remediation in the amount of $75,000. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes, happily.
Kern.
Yes, and I want to thank the Open Space Committee on this.
Rothwell.
Yes.
And Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 548.
Authorizes purchase of dump truck for Highway Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
$300,000 for a dump truck. Yes.
That's a good deal. Resolution is adopted. Resolution 549.
Touch it on Saturday.
Awards bid for annual fire and security alarm contract. So moved.
Second?
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 550.
Rescinds resolution number 2025-487, rebid 203-213, East Main Street Sewer Improvement. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 551.
Rejects bid for lubricants and authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for rebid for lubricants. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 552.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for liquid sludge removal and disposal. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 553.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for grit screen waste removal and disposal. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 554.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for sludge cake removal and disposal. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 555.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for disposal and recycling of municipal solid waste. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 556.
Adopts a local law to amend Chapter 251, Article 2 of the Riverhead Town Code titled Public Nuisances. I want to thank everybody who worked on this code. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 557.
Adopts a local law to amend Chapter 301 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning and Land Use Development, Section 3, thereof titled Definitions, Word Usage. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 558.
Declares emergency and authorizes purchasing agent to enter into temporary purchasing agreement for liquid sludge removal and disposal services for sewer district. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 559.
Authorize the supervisor to execute agreement with Riverhead Volunteer Ambulance Corps, Inc. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 560.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with Family Service League regarding the Employee Assistance Program. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 561.
Authorizes the supervisor to enter into an agreement with CSEA Zaweski. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 562.
Authorizes the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the CSEA Smith J. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 563.
Authorizes the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the CSEA Mercer. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yeah, these last three employees go above and beyond every day that they come to work. We appreciate what they do, and thanks for doing a great job.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 564.
Authorizes the Community Development Division to apply for funding through U.S. Department of Justice. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 565.
Authorizes the removal of all weeds in excess of 10 inches, yard waste, litter, garbage refuse, rubbish upon the premises known as 262 Hulse Avenue, Wading River, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0600-03.00-05.00-027.000 pursuant to the Riverhead Town Code, Chapter 251. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 566.
Authorizes the removal of all weeds in excess of 10 inches, yard waste, litter, garbage, refuse, rubbish upon the premises known as 219 Hubbard Avenue, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 0600-111-4-22 pursuant to Riverhead Town Code, Chapter 251. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 567.
Pays bills. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 568.
Sets terms and conditions of employment for a payroll supervisor. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski.
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 569.
I believe we have
Yes.
to amend this resolution.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make a motion to amend Resolution 20-25-569. Currently reads, ratifies resolution for home rule request in support of a bill, Senate Bill S. 8378. That A should be a B. Is that correct?
Yes.
Counsel?
B.
B.
Yes.
Assembly Bill A 8809 dash, and this should also be a B instead of A,
Okay.
for an act to amend Chapter 495 of the laws of the 2011 relating to the conveyance of land formerly used as an armory to the town of Riverhead, county of Suffolk, in relation to the use of such property. Further, there are amendments in this bill, this resolution, on the first page, continuing down 1, 2, 3, 4, on the fifth whereas, Mr. Clerk, Bill S. 8378, there's an A/A, that should read B/A, period, and then it reads 8809A, that A should also be a B.
Okay.
And then at the bottom of the page, now therefore be it resolved on the second to last line, Home Rule Request Bill S 8378, that A there should be a B, dash A, period, 8809, that A should also be a B. You have that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Those are the amendments to this bill. As amended, I ask that this be amended to that. I move it to amend it.
Second.
Vote, please. Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes to amend.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Now I moved, for the amended bill, ratifies the resolution for home rule request in support of Bill, Senate Bill S3, 8378B / Assembly Bill A 8809 / B for an act to amend Chapter 495 of the laws of 2011 relating to the conveyance of land formerly used as an armory to the town of Riverhead, county of Suffolk, in relation to the use of such property. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please. Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern,
Yeah, I just want to say before I vote, this has been a 3-year process, and I want to thank Anne Marie Prudente, our attorney in town, Assemblywoman Giglio, and also Senator Palumbo. Yes, for me.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted as amended. Resolution 570.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post public notice to consider an amendment to Chapter 289-10 entitled Parking Prohibited. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please. Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 571.
Grants final site plan approval for the site plan amendment application of Island Water Park, DBA Scotts Point, 5835 Middle Country Road, Calverton, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-135-1-7.34. So moved.
Second.
Hang on. We have to amend that date.
Oh, right. Where's that
Right. So it's under,
third whereas?
No.
no, it's under the third to last whereas. Under the paragraph numbered 1, where it says June 13, 2024, that should say June 13, 2025.
Okay.
Make motion to amend.
Second.
Vote, please. Woski,
Yes to amend.
Merrifield,
No.
Kern,
Yes to amend.
Yes to amend.
Hubbard.
Yes.
I'll read again.
Resolution is amended.
Grants final site plan approval for the site plan amendment application of Island Water Park, DBA Scotts Point, 5835 Middle Country Road, Calverton, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-135-1-7.34. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield.
No.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted, 4-1. Resolution 572.
Sewer District Capital Project 82317 budget adjustment. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 573.
Awards rebid 203-213 East Main Street Sewer Improvements, Contract S, Sewers. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 574.
Amends Town Board Resolution 2022-263. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 575.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Riverhead Business Improvement District Management Association, Inc., regarding 2025 calendar year events. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
We have 2 resolutions that are being brought off the floor.
We have 2 resolutions that are going to be brought up off the floor.
The first one is cameras for software, and that's 576.
576.
The second will be the grant application for police officer hire, that's 577.
Okay,
Okay?
perfect.
So my understanding is that the application deadline for these two grant opportunities was miscalendared. We caught it in time to do the resolution for this town board meeting. Each resolution relates to a grant application to the U.S. Department of Justice. The first one for funding for language translation services for our body cams, and the second to supplement or contribute to the cost of hiring up to 3 new police officers.
Correct. And we got these grant applications late, so that's why we are taking them off the floor. We generally don't like to take off the floor unless it's an emergency type in nature, but this one, because it is time sensitive, we're going to take these two off the floor. First one, Joanne, you want to read it?
Sure. Authorizes the Riverhead Police Department to apply for grant from United States Department of Justice for body cameras software for language translation. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Counselor, we have to vote to take it off the
Take it
floor
off the
first.
floor
Yeah.
first,
Wow.
and then you have to
Right.
move it and.
Read it again.
right, you have to vote to take them off.
Okay.
All right, so
You want to vote?
I make a motion to take off the floor, number 576, authorizes the Riverhead Police Department to apply for grant from the United States Department of Justice for body camera software for language translation.
Second?
Vote, please, to take off the floor.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is off the floor.
Okay,
My
now go.
apologies, I jumped the gun on that.
Now go ahead.
I was so excited.
Did say time was of the essence.
Yeah. Authorizes the Riverhead Police Department to apply for grant from the United States Department of Justice for body camera software for language translation. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted.
All right, number 577, the same thing. I make a motion, authorizes the Riverhead Police Department to apply for the United States Department of Justice grant to hire police officers. So moved.
Second?
Is that to take off the floor?
To take off the floor, yes.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
and Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is off the floor.
Authorizes the Riverhead Police Department to apply for a United States Department of Justice grant to hire police officers. So moved.
Second?
Vote, please.
Woski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Good.
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. That concludes the resolutions.
Okay, those are all the resolutions we have for tonight. Now what we're going to go to is we're going to take open comments from the public on any matter. Again, you have 3 minutes to come up to the microphone, state your name and state where you live, not your address, but your town, and we'll give you 3 minutes. Anybody would like to make a comment on any matter?
Forgive me, I'm not much of a public speaker, but my name is Stephen Opperly. I live in Calverton, over on Mastro Road. And that's relevant because, as you guys already have mentioned, there is some concern revolving around the Crown facility. But I would also like to draw attention to another concern that myself, my wife, my neighbors, and many others in my community have had concern about since it began. So several weeks ago, and you may hear about this from other people in the room today, but several weeks ago somebody started dumping unknown material across the street from our neighborhood just off of Youngs Avenue. Now our concerns revolve around air quality, water quality, the local well-being, road safety, fire risk, obviously, and chemical exposure. My wife hasn't been feeling well since the dumping began several weeks ago. She wakes up with nosebleeds, often has sinus issues, and this happens every morning that the trucks are active. And to this issue, I speak to ultimately several trucks showing up at a time, dumping refuse across the street from where we live, and we have no idea what that material is. Unfortunately, it has a terrible chemical scent that wafts over our neighborhood when the wind is in our direction, and it makes going outside impossible, making us feel ill and ultimately not really making life any easier for any of us. I went around the neighborhood with several of my neighbors to collect signatures for a petition, which others will speak to here, but I just wanted to address my concerns before my time is up. I want to know what's being dumped, and I would like to know why Patriot Recycling LLC, which is an Oceanside-based company, is allowed to dump potentially hazardous materials by the truckload in our neighborhood. I would also like to know what control, if any, the town of Riverhead has over what is dumped here and who is doing that dumping. And I would like to ask for your help, because this issue is deeply concerning to myself, my wife, and my neighbors. Lastly, concerning the Crown Cycling Facility fires, and I did say fires because there were two, one right after the other, one involving the full facility and another apparently involving a payloader. I would like to know why this facility did not have any smoke alarms. I would like to know how the fire started in the first place and whether there's been an investigation by the town into this matter. And ultimately, I would like to know the ultimate fate of this facility, as if you drive past it, you will understand that it is completely gutted by this fire and doesn't even seem workable, let alone approachable. And I would like to know what actions Riverhead plans to take surrounding the safety of the residents which are located nearby. Lastly, our concerns revolve again around air quality, the spreading of that potential fire. And I want to just make a mention that the firemen did a great job putting that out. It's my understanding 9 different districts were involved in the elimination of that first fire. And I'm greatly grateful, deeply grateful for that. And I just am also concerned about our water quality, as it sounds like many of the resolutions today revolve around water quality. This is deeply concerning to us since our water table is as low as it can get, basically. So that's it. Thank you for your time, and have a good day.
Stephen, do you have that petition you'd like to file?
Someone else here does.
Okay.
And I believe they'll be coming up to the podium as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Harvard Nichols. I live in Ridge, New York. I'm working with my cousin Bob Herring. This dumping is going on right next to his house, 60 feet off from his property line. And he has high-performance horses, and it's affecting them. I just would like to read section 201-4, Right to Farm. Paragraph B, protected farm practices. In order to allow for the viability of agriculture industry, farmers shall have the right to undertake protected farm practices in the active pursuit of agriculture operations, including but not limited to clearing, grading, plowing, aerial and ground spraying, the use of legal agricultural chemicals, including herbicides, pesticides, fertilizer, raising horses, poultry, small livestock, cattle, processing, marketing procedures, installing water and soil conservation facility, utilizing crop protection devices, design, constructing, and using structures including barns, stables, paddocks, fences, greenhouses, pump houses, using water pumping, spraying, pruning, and harvesting, and disposing of organic waste on the farm. That's the next sentence is, these activities can and do generate dust, smoke, noise, vibrations, and odor, and may occur on holidays, Sundays, weekdays, in both the night and the day. Such activities are presumed to be reasonable and do not constitute a nuisance unless the activity has substantial adverse effect on the public health and safety and welfare. I think it does, because we can't sit outside. Memorial Day weekend, we couldn't have a barbecue. The trucks are 10 feet off the paddock when they go by. Right now, we have over 14,000 yards of yard waste dumping in this field. What are they going to do? No, there's no answers. And that's the whole thing in a nutshell. And what happens if this continues for a year and this guy goes belly up? Who cleans up the mess? Long Island Compost used to dump next to us when Mr. Warner owned the farm, and they were forced to come pick up all the stuff that they dumped because it had garbage in it. This stuff has garbage in it. And now it's become a health hazard. Now the Board of Health has to get involved. And I have a quick letter that we circulated to our neighbors. I'm writing to bring to your attention the critical growing issue that is impacting the health, safety, and overall livability of our neighborhood, and is worsening by the day. Massive 53-foot dump trailers loaded with unknown materials, potentially containing chemicals and waste and uncertain origin, are being brought in and dumped in multiple times a day, 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the former Warner Nursery property. We have no idea what's being brought in, nor do we know what's being leached out into our groundwater. My time up?
I'll let you continue.
Thank you. We have no idea what's being what's being brought in, nor do we know what's being leached out in our groundwater. What we do know is that the stench in the air has become unbearable. There is increasing concern over the presence of pests. First and foremost, the odor is intolerable. The smell is so overpowering that many of us can no longer open our windows and enjoy the outdoor spaces. The smell infiltrates our homes. It lingers in the air, making daily life uncomfortable, and for some, completely unlivable. With the summer heat approaching, this already awful situation will only get worse, making it nearly impossible for families to enjoy their properties and even ventilate their homes without being overwhelmed with the stench. Frankly, it's no wonder this company, which is not even local, is dumping this material in our backyard and not their own. Adding to concern is the increased truck traffic and a serious safety hazard. The tractor trailers often parked in the middle of Youngs Avenue, blocking visibility, narrowing the roadway, and putting drivers and school buses, pedestrians, and children in danger. Even more alarming, these trucks frequently cross over the double yellow line to turn into the property, blocking both lanes of traffic, or sit idling in the middle of the street for extended periods, forcing other vehicles to veer into the oncoming traffic to get around. This reckless behavior is not just inconvenient, it creates an extremely dangerous situation that is bound to cause a catastrophic accident if it's not addressed immediately. To make matters worse, this company responsible for this activity is not even local. It's based in Oceanside, over 67 miles away, more than 1 hour and 25 minutes from here. That means a business with no ties to our community, no investment in our community or in our well-being, and no concern for our safety is using our neighborhood as a dumping ground. That's not acceptable.
Here, here.
Thank you. We're not ignoring you. We're going to wait to address, after everybody has spoken, we'll address, because the concerns are all very similar that we're going to hear tonight, I'm sure.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else? Come on up.
Hi, my name is Mary Highland, and I'm a resident of Riverhead. And I had been at the June 5th meeting, and I expressed concern about the opening of yet another cannabis dispensary at the corner of Ostrander and Route 58. I feel it is going to impact our community in a very negative manner. It is a very dangerous intersection. It's extremely busy. There are 2 gas stations, an eatery. The road, Ostrander is a 2-lane narrow road, and they're going to have increased traffic there. It's going to impact the safety, and it's very close. It's 2/10 of a mile from 2/10 to a half a mile from 4 senior citizen communities. And there's also the effect that it's very close to the Timothy Hill Ranch, which is housing, a center for the care of troubled youths. So having another dispensary, there's a huge one on Route 58. There's also the medical one on 1333 East Main. There's another one in Calverton. How many does Riverhead need? We don't want to be known as the source. I'm taking that from Fortunoff, the source, because last year the New York Times wrote us up as one of the best places to live. Do we want to be known as one of the best places where you can get your drugs? Our property values are going to be affected by this. If our property values go down, our tax base goes down. So the revenue that you get from having a dispensary there is going to be offset by a decreased tax base. Plus, it's impacting the quality of the neighborhood. You're going to have people who don't live in the area. You're going to have a lot more transient people coming in that the whole North Fork is going to end up coming in and using Riverhead as their source. I think it's a very bad location, and I think it's putting the neighborhood at risk. I started a petition, and I have, from a couple of the communities, I have almost 200 signatures, and that's just done in the last week. I would continue, so if you would like to have a copy of this petition in which it enumerates reasons why we think it's in a terrible location. Our other concern is, I know the Aboff paint store has been voted down. My concern is this a done deal and that I'm just tilting at windmills, trying to get this postponed or moved somewhere else? Because some people are saying, oh, it's a done deal, it's already been approved. But there was a variance to add another 6,000 square foot building, which is going to make it a 14,000 square foot structure at the corner of Ostrander and Route 58. So are we, are we too late to the party to say we don't want this in our neighborhood? So I would appreciate if you would consider our concerns and possibly address maybe that this is not the best location. There are other places that it could be that might not be so close to the residential area. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, ma'am. Did you want to submit that now, or do you want to wait to get more signatures? You can do it either way.
No, I can always print up
Submit it,
another
okay.
one. And then the other thing, just real quick, the town was very applauding of the CAP that they had an anti-drug march. So you're, on one hand, you're saying, don't do drugs, but let's build another place where you can get your drugs. It sends a very mixed message to the community.
Well, the difference being is marijuana is legal,
It's
and the drugs
technically
you're
legal,
referring
but-
to with the
yeah,
cap
well,
are not.
It's a personal choice, and I have an opinion about marijuana. I would
Sure.
never use it, but I don't think it sends the right message to children. And I think you're putting the neighborhood at risk. But thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So I'll just clarify real quick. So the site at the corner of Ostrander Avenue and Route 58 would be the third retail location that would be active in the town. It's the only one that is available currently in Corridor 3. The Aboff site, they applied for a use variance to site that at that store that was denied because it is too close to the high school. And then there was a second variance, use variance applied for the old bank building up the road on Ostrander, and that was denied. So the location on the corner of Ostrander Avenue and Route 58 is entirely compliant with the existing zoning. And just furthermore, that application is pending with the planning board. So to the extent that there's comments or opposition, those should more properly be directed to the planning board at planning board meetings.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Anybody else like to come up and speak?
Yes.
I just want to, my name is Mike Maresca. I live in Calverton as well, and I just want to reiterate back onto the other subject of that dumping ground that Steve so eloquently stated before. I'm not much of a public speaker, but I did want to inject. I do have a grandchild that has CF, and I'm very closely located to that area. This one particular night with the prevailing winds just blowing in our direction, completely destroyed our house, filled up our house with the toxic fumes that was so immense that we all developed headaches. We had to do emergency treatments for my grandchild, and we had to remove her from the house and bring her back to where she lived. So it's really disruptive, and I would appreciate it if you guys would take the opportunity to try to expedite this as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, could I have your name again? Did you?
Ma'am, come on up.
I have it.
Michael something?
Marie Dominici, Riverhead. In regards to what my neighbor has said regarding having all of these places opening up with
the ability to purchase marijuana. I mean, if people need it for health reasons, I'm not opposed to it, but it shouldn't make the communities in and around those facilities lose their real estate value because people are coming in from everywhere to make the purchase, and it could ruin the community's property value, and we shouldn't have to pay for that. If we have a couple of facilities already, you don't need to build one on the corner of our community because that is going to be a problem and a concern. So if you could kindly consider what next steps should be, not to open another pot facility there when you have 58 with a few other facilities there. You don't need to put it almost in our front yards, because we live in a community, there's 196 condos in this community, and it's a 55 and older community, and you don't want to put people in jeopardy if people are running around doing crazy things and putting, local residents, in jeopardy. And again, I'm not opposed to pot. I don't smoke myself, so I don't, but if somebody chooses to for health reasons or for play reasons, that's their choice, but not to the point where it could have an impact on our community in a negative way. Thank you for your consideration.
Could I just get your name one more time, please?
Marie Dominici.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is James Nunamaker. I live in Riverhead. In fact, I live in Saddle Lakes. I won't cover the ground previously covered by my two neighbors. I want to see if I can raise a couple of different issues. One, I think the prior town board, not this board, made an error when they didn't opt out of the marijuana law. And just because they have, there's no reason now why they have to grant all of the available licenses. We have 3. There's no reason we need 4. As most of us do, I drive back and forth on 58 when I come in from the expressway. You go past the first dispensary. At the risk of being flip, I've never seen more than 3 or 4 cars there. And there's no line waiting to get into the parking lot. There's no line waiting to get in the door. It seems to me that the 3 existing locations certainly adequately meet this community's need. We're a relatively small community, a relatively small township in terms of population. We don't need all the locations. I'm also deeply troubled. You had said marijuana is legal. Yes, it's legal. But thus far, there has been no recognized test for marijuana intoxication, according to the police. There is no test that has been adopted to say that this person is operating a motor vehicle under the influence of cannabis, which was a terrible mistake at the state level. And I realize that is not your burden. I really do. But why add to it? Why add to the burden of our police officers? Also, the senior citizen communities along Middle, those properties have been increasing very dramatically in their value since they were put in approximately 20 to 25 years ago. They generate a very significant tax revenue. And to have that property value assaulted, decreased by having a marijuana dispensary it's very short-sighted. And it's not only my community. You go down Ostrander, there's a very vibrant residential community the whole way to the aquarium. You go down Roanoke, very vibrant community till you get down to the fire department and the school. Why are we putting it in the middle of a residential community? If it is such a good idea, why don't we put it on Main Street? But the answer is, when Riverhead started redeveloping, we started as a golf course destination. We're now billing ourselves as a family recreation destination. We don't need to be the pot destination. If anybody watches Channel 12, there's a company that advertises that they will deliver their purchases anywhere on Long Island or Queens to your door. So they're already they're intruding into our community. So I don't see a need for another one. Just because we have 5 licenses, it's my understanding, we don't need to fill all of them. And one other thought, I don't know whether it's been mentioned. Riverhead is becoming a medical destination, with Northwell continuing to upgrade their hospital. As you look down that corridor, we see more and more and more medical buildings. So why not do something like that? Encourage our medical growth here. And by the way, I think not a few people that show up at the hospital may have substance abuse problems. And do we want to have a medical dispensary right down the street from the emergency room? I don't know that that's good business. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin, do we have anybody online? Okay. Come on up, Kath.
Kathy McGraw, Northville. I'd like to address the Patriot situation. There's a saying that if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Young's LLC on Young's Avenue, I think it's safe to say, is probably a commercial recycling center for yard trimmings, to make compost and make mulch, and who knows what else, according to the reports of people living in the area. No sooner had the owner closed on the property, which is 45 acres of agricultural land, with the development rights having been bought by the town, owned by the town. No sooner did he close than he began dumping truckloads of waste, and it sounds like we don't even know what's in that waste. He claims it's all legit because he's been using the mulch on his tree farm. One pesky little detail. The tree farm that was there is defunct, and it doesn't look like any farming has resumed. Yet the only way composting and mulch production can be permitted on this land, which is what he says he's doing, is if it is to be used on that farm. It can't be sold, used, or transported to another site. The new owner, Mr. De Figueroa, owns and operates a large recycling center in Oceanside, Patriot. He takes in 4 categories of materials: yard waste and another being clean soil. He also sells compost and mulch as well as the soil. According to a document in the town's possession that came from the DEC, Mr. De Figueroa told the DEC he wants to relocate 2 of his 4 operations, the yard waste and the soil operations, from Oceanside to Young's Avenue, so he can avoid compliance issues he was having with odor control. The DEC oversees yard waste recycling operations depending on the size. Some are exempt from New York state law, others aren't. The owner has dotted his I's and crossed all his T's with the DEC. But the town of Riverhead, not the DEC, enforces what can and cannot be done on land that has had its development rights sold. Mulching and composting must be supportive of a farm operation. Given the state of this land, it sure doesn't look like it's been an active tree farm in quite some time. So are we really to believe, as I guess perhaps you all do, that this is anything other than a relocation of the owner's composting and mulching operations from Oceanside to Riverhead? Well, if Oceanside had a problem with the smell, why should the good people of Calverton, who you represent, have to put up with this? You should shut down this dumping operation until such time as the owner can demonstrate he is actually farming this land. There are a myriad questions, including what he's dumping and what's going on. He said at one point there would be 6 trips a day. We're hearing nothing like that, enormous numbers of trips. This man can't be trusted, and you need to shut him down till you get this under control. Thank you very much.
I'm nervous. Katie Brienne's at Calverton. I don't even know where to start. The dump trucks are definitely going to cause an accident because it's right on a bend. My neighbor literally lives across the street. My heart is with all of those animals that's on the farm, which is well kept. The animals are beautiful and they're great to look at. How much longer can they live with the stench? What about the heavy metals that are in the streets? Are the streets being tested in the local area? The school buses are now 9 to 12 minutes late dropping off or picking up our children while we're all in panic. Where is the bus? These trucks are jackknifing the piles of dirt that's left in the street. The least important, but is important, is all that dirt and debris that's left in the street, all down Young's. When it's stirred up, we put our windows up right away because it comes in our vehicles. Mine's a brand new truck, and then the whole inside, and now I'm breathing that. I go to the car wash, starts at $38, $10 tip, $50. I stopped and said to the guys, can't you clean up the streets once in the morning and once before you close? No, why don't you take the long way around? So I should go 4 miles out of my way to go home so my truck stays clean in and out. But the health issues is the most important. I've watched this with my neighbors. I live 6 houses down from the dumping site, and my grandson, who is sitting back there, has had 2 nosebleeds in the last 2 weeks. So, God forbid, what next? I don't want what next. When were we given a choice to say how we felt about this? My husband spoke to one of the drivers and said that they were dumping solid waste. Well, that's what our neighborhood smells like. The other thing is, it's very windy where we live, and I kind of got used to it. I'm there 6 years now. And I kind of like it, because we can open up our window. I do in the wintertime, wash the floors, open the windows, dry, done. Nope, cannot do that now. That smell comes in the house, it stays in the house. I work very hard to keep my beautiful house as beautiful as it is, but I'm forced to close the windows. Now I have to use my central air. Who's paying for that? I would love to use what Mother Nature gives us, and that's a nice, beautiful breeze that Calverton, Riverhead area has. Please, please, please look into this. It's really bad, really bad. I have never come to a meeting like this. This is my first. That's why I'm shaky. But it needs to be said.
It's okay to be nervous because it means that you care about what you're going to say.
I sure do.
I appreciate that you're all here, and I just want to remind everybody that the supervisor did say that he has something to address with everyone about this. So, we are paying attention to this, and I look forward to
You
the
can come
supervisor
sleep
being
over
able
for the
to tell
weekend
you.
and experience the whole 48 hours.
I
I'm
feel for
serious.
you.
Yous
I
would
really
be like,
do.
oh my God, it's bad.
Every one of us have been up there.
Yeah, when the dump trucks.
We've been up there and seen it, so we're well
Yeah.
aware.
One time I was coming home, I had to get home for the bus stop, and I went to turn down Mastro, and all of a sudden the dump truck just whips in front of me so he could back in, and I'm like, this is not good. It's not safe for any reason at all. And the piles of dirt or solid waste that falls off the trucks, it stays in the streets. That's not fair. It is a beautiful community that we live in, and we would like to keep it that way. Not being forced to smell all this. And again, the heavy metals is a big concern because he's 6 years old and is getting nosebleeds a little too often. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep going up.
Mark Woolley, Riverhead resident. I've been up to Bob Herring's house and his farm this past Saturday, and I have to applaud the folks here that have been speaking tonight about Patriot Recycling. I'm here in support of them. To coin a phrase, this was no boating accident. What's going on up there, Patriot's fully aware of what they're dumping. This is not mulch. It's got plastic in it. It's got other contaminants in it. You can see the fresh dumping that's going on up there. No one is over there plowing the field like you would do it at ag use. They're not planting. They're not prepping it. They're coming in with truckloads and they're dumping and then they're leaving. So what I did is I contacted DEC and I spoke to them last week, and they said that they were looking to go ahead and move that gate. I don't know where they're going to move it, but that gate where they pull in and they block all of the roads there coming in and out, at least maybe if they can move that so that they don't impede the traffic coming in and out of there, maybe that's at least a start. But in the meantime, they may have a permit that says they're allowed to use it for some sort of ag use, but they sure as heck aren't doing that. So what needs to happen is to go ahead and have these guys investigated, and they're calling for these guys to be shut down. That's the way you do it. Shut them down until you figure out how we're going to go ahead and proceed here. They can't come out of their houses. There's dust every place. I went and I saw what they did to the animals there. You've got chickens that have stopped laying as many eggs as they should be laying. You got a horse that ended up hurting its leg because they were scared by the trucks that come roaring out of there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Anyone who wants to go ahead and live that way is beyond me. I don't know how they do it. So these folks that moved in there with Patriot was only about a year ago. I think these folks deserve to have the respect that should be given to them for living there as long as they have and abiding by the rules. Patriots not abiding by the rules, they need to be made to. Thank you.
Eric, you want to address some of the issues or the issues that were spoken about tonight?
Yeah, okay, so, we've been aware of this since,
Yeah, no problem. You can keep coming up. I just figured we'd start answering some of the questions.
My name is Dawn Collins. I'm with Riverhead. I don't know who approved the dispensary in Riverhead, right? It's the start of the North Fork, right? You come onto North Fork, you're going to see one pot place and another pot place. Besides that, you have a lot of elementary schools. You got children. Is anybody thinking about children, right? I mean, I'm all for medical marijuana, right? If it's for medical purposes, put it in CVS. Let them go get their medical marijuana there, right? Having pot centers when you're hitting the North Fork, people will come out here with their families, their kids. You don't want to see that, right? It's, you're going from an auto shop on the corner to a pot place. That's change of use, right? That changes the character of the town, right? That has to be looked at. Common sense has to be used, right? You don't need a pot place right there when you're entering the North Fork. It's going to hurt businesses. It's going to hurt the character of the whole entire North Fork, right? Besides that, you got Rowland Elementary School down the road, right? You got Riverhead High School, all the middle schools, right? You got like 5 senior centers off of Middle Country. That's the way everybody comes in and out, right? You want that kind of traffic and congestion, right? Besides that, Eric, you mentioned this is with the planning board, right?
yes.
The site on 1200 Ostrander was turned down because of the 1,000 feet rule, right?
No.
There's a residential,
No, that one was turned down because it wasn't on the commercial corridor.
okay. The distance from 1090 Ostrander Avenue to the intersection of Old Country Road and Ostrander Avenue in Riverhead is approximately 1,000 feet. The measurement places a single-family residence at 1090 Ostrander Avenue within the 1,000-foot setback requirement specified by Riverhead Town's Cannabis Zoning Code, which prohibits dispensaries within 1,000 feet of existing residential properties. Therefore, the proposed cannabis dispensary at the corner of Ostrander Avenue and Old Country Road would not comply with the zoning restriction. This has to go back to the planning board, all right? This should never have been approved because there is a residence, single-family residence at 1090 Ostrander Avenue, which is in the 1,000-foot setback, all right? So I don't know who approved this, but we would like to get to the bottom of who approved this. We've already contacted Channel 12, 7 on your side. We've started petitions around Riverhead. The community, the North Fork community does not want to see this. We want to understand who approved this, especially it doesn't meet the zoning requirements. And it's not a good thing for our youth, all right? Like my friend Mary said, there's the Timothy Hill Ranch, right, is right there. This youth does not need to be subjected, turning and seeing a cannabis place. If it's a medical issue and somebody needs marijuana, I can understand that. If they need it for whatever reason, they can go to CVS and pick it up. You don't need a whole dispensary for something like that. On common sense, what is it really being used for? What message are you sending? Families coming down to see the North Fork when they pass in, 3 different pot places, all right? Think about the kids, right? So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so the site at the corner of Ostrander and Route 58 hasn't been given a final approval. That application is pending with the planning board, but as I previously said, that application is proceeding through the planning board and not being referred to the ZBA because it meets all of the setback requirements currently set forth in Chapter 301, Section 283.20. And with respect to the residential setbacks, that provision accepts or exempts properties with frontage along and located within the commercial corridors that were established because they're primarily retail type uses. And so that would be applicable to, I believe that site is in Corridor 3.
Okay.
Can I just ask one question? When does the planning board meet? Because I'll go to the.
Come on up to the microphone, ma'am.
Planning board's next meeting is July 3rd.
It's on the website.
Here, or
It's on the website.
Right here.
Yeah.
right here?
It's on the town website. They
Yeah,
meet twice a month, once in the afternoon and then once in the evening.
All right, thank you very much.
So
Welcome.
it's July 3rd, that'll be a 3 o'clock meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. My name is Craig Dahlgren from Calverton. I own and live full-time at 2764 River Road with my 9-year-old daughter. I'm here tonight with some comments and concerns about a proposal for a motocross track at 2822 River Road, Calverton. This proposal was submitted under the Duffy FX motocross title. My property being the closest property at about 600 feet from the proposed dirt bike track, separated by a small open farm lot. Quick background on the property that's being proposed for the motocross track, which is 2822. It was historically a vineyard. In 2022, the property was purchased by Jack De Silva of J&R Earthworks, which is an excavation company based out of Holbrook. Shortly after buying the land, the first things that happened was excavators showed up and the grapes were ripped out of the ground. And shortly after that, the ground began to be worked, excavated. Town came out, evaluated the situation, and issued a stop work order for sand mining. There was over 20 dump trucks a day leaving the site loaded. There was no permits or anything in place with you folks, so a stop work order was issued. Within a few months, I want to say, it was definitely that same year, 22, it was probably with like 3 to 5 month range, a new proposal was submitted to Riverhead Town for this gentleman to build a warehouse on the property, but claimed he needed to excavate 60,000 yards of sand material to build the foundation for this warehouse, which, as per a conversation with the planning board, they just kind of like stopped it right there. It just made no sense, right? We entered the moratorium, and now the motocross proposal is back. Under the motocross proposal, they are looking to remove 120,000 yards of material off the site. This material's trying to be justified being removed off the site as sound mitigation for the neighbors that live there with a motocross track operating.
I'd like to point out that neither the owner of this property or the applicant who's trying to build a motocross track there live on site. Neither of them do. I'd also like to mention, this isn't a situation where we have a lifelong farmer that is looking to use his land as his retirement. Again, these people don't live there. In my opinion, it's much like the gentleman from Ridge that spoke before. This is people from outside the town trying to come in and basically make a quick buck at the expense of the residents. At the end of the day, they drive home, they don't have to listen to the noise, right? That's their thing. Couple concerns. Dust, I drive Edwards Avenue all the time. You have the track that operates there. Often the dust is going over Edwards Avenue. Water is used to suppress the dust. That property, there's no public water at that property or any of the properties on River Road. So I don't know if a private well can provide enough water to suppress the dust. Groundwater concerns, again, excavation of 120,000 yards. That's got to be very close to groundwater. We're all on private wells there. We have no public water. Property values, let's be real. You go look at a house for sale, you hear dirt bikes zipping around. You're not going to be paying as much for it as you would the house that's a mile away that you don't hear dirt bikes, right? The biggest one is noise. I'm familiar with the motocross tracks in Riverhead. I often ride, as a matter of fact, Sunday I just rode the Calverton Bike Trail, and you can ride right past the motocross track at the back of Sky Material. Drive Edwards Avenue all the time, so I know what these things sound like. I know how far away you get from them till you hear them. The Edwards Avenue track is 1.3 miles away from my home, and I can hear that when the wind is coming from the north. There's no way that a track at approximately 600 feet, despite what sound mitigation they're proposing, there's no way I'm not going to hear it. And when I'm talking about the noise, I'm not talking about a deafening noise. I'm not talking about a dangerous noise. I'm talking about just a constant background noise. Everyone here in this room is familiar with the sound in a neighborhood when the leaf blowers fire up, when the lawnmowers fire up, when the guy down the road is chainsawing. And I do all of those things as well. The difference here is those last an hour and they go away. This is all day, 5 days a week, including weekends, that there's going to be background noise that's there. Again, it's not dangerous noise. It's not going to damage my hearing, but it's noise. I'd also like to point out that area has become very busy with truck traffic. That's where all your trucks basically that go into Epic Cal go. It's, living there, I can't tell you exactly how many trucks it is, but it's very busy with trucks. You also have drag racing at Grumman, which I understand they're looking to increase the amount of drag racing. So when we start talking about the noise and they start doing the sound studies and the decibels that this is going to create, it's not just the decibels that this is going to create. It's let's add in the decibels of the truck traffic when the trucks are going down the road. Let's add in the decibels that are coming from the drag racing over there. I'm not anti-drag racing, right? And I've never made a complaint to you guys before about it. But I'm just saying when you start to pool all these things together, you got noise coming from this direction at one sound wave, 1 decibel. You got noise coming from that direction at another one. Noise coming from that one. Enough is enough with it. Like, I've lived there for 13 years. I'm raising a child there. We do normal things there. We play in the backyard. We do barbecues. We go in the pool. This is going to be a quality of life issue. I don't believe that with the sound mitigation that was discussed during the workshop that it's going to, be enough for it.
I'm just going to ask you to wrap up, sir, because you've
Yes.
gone through two
Yes.
time limits already.
Sure. If you haven't guessed it, I'm not in support of it. So last thing, put yourself in my shoes. If someone was proposing to build a dirt bike track 600-700 feet behind your home, could you honestly support it? Thank you.
I have a feeling I'm going to tell you we can do without the sound effects.
Okay, you can do without my sound effects.
We
Following
understand.
Greg is a bit difficult.
We understand.
Okay, good evening. My name is Tricia Yakubaski. My ties to this little neck of the woods are strong. My sons are the 6th generation of my family to be raised within 2 homes of the property in question. My home is located in the northwest corner of my property, giving me pretty much full visibility of the proposed motor track from my front door, my living room windows, the upstairs windows, as well as my bus stop. For close to 25 years, I've owned and operated Babes in Toyland, a licensed daycare approved by the New York State Office of Children and Family Services. I am licensed to care for children from 6 weeks of age until 12 years of age. I currently enroll 19 children that I care for throughout the calendar year from 6 a.m. until roughly 6 p.m. I was slightly disturbed to read that the only concern listed in the Riverhead Local article was my neighboring horse farm. Although they have historically provided commendable experiences for those in the most fragile demographic, let us not forget the neighboring properties, including, but not limited to, an organic farm and their CSA, who shares property lines with the property in question, the Peconic Herb Farm, directly behind me, who provides a serene location, providing amazing views, plants, local music, as well as hosting weddings and other special events. Of course, the residences, who are raising their families right here, as well as my children and longstanding daycare. I believe the noise the motocross will bring to my property will put the well-being and physical safety of the children in my care at risk. Noise is defined as any unwanted or disagreeable sound and is often dismissed simply as a nuisance. Children are most vulnerable to this nuisance in the early stages as they grow and develop. When a childcare setting is subjected to chronic environmental noise, it affects the children's ability to acquire speech, language, and language-related skills. It affects how they learn, play, take naps, as well as affecting how long they sleep, threatening both a child's physical and psychological health. Noise can interfere with cognitive tasks like memory, attention, and reaction time. It increases hyperactivity. What will this do to my children who have special sensitivities? Those who have an autism spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or learning differences that will be enhanced and exacerbated by the constant noise. When children are crossing the street from their school bus, will they hear me or the bus driver yell when a motorist doesn't obey the law? Will they hear us when a child gets away from their parent in the driveway while other parents are coming and going? Section 417.8A3 of the Rules and Regulations established by the New York State Office of Children and Family Services states that school-aged children can be outside of direct supervision as long as they stay on daycare property. As an example, it is my concern that while my little ones are inside napping and my older ones are outside this summer on the playground, I won't be able to hear them if they call out an emergency or in the event I call for them. What guarantee can you offer that the level of noise 10th Street Motocross would generate would not harm our children and destroy the integrity of my daycare? I currently have children enrolled that suffer from asthma. The parents and I are concerned that the health of said children when you consider the inevitable dust and sediment that would be coming our way. How long will that sediment take to show up on the organic farm, ruining their organic certification? This is their attempt at removing an astronomical amount of sand. Is the quality of our well water suddenly no longer in question or of concern? I want to add that despite what was said during the work session a few weeks back, I have confirmed with Frank from the Water District today that there are no pipes currently on River Road. The gentleman had said that it was at the end of the driveway. That is not true. One stops at Connecticut Avenue and the other on Edwards. Now, believe it or not, I'm not against motocross. I just never, ever want to be able to say, I told you so, or I knew it, when one of our fears comes into fruition. I truly believe this is not the location for it. I hope that the powers that be can see that as well and provide the opportunity for this to develop where it belongs, in another location, completely away from any residents, despite what their zoning is. Thank you.
Thank you, Tricia. Eric, would you address the Patriot Recycling?
Okay, yeah, so we've been aware of Patriot Recycling since last August. August 8th of 2024, we initially issued them a stop work order. And they submitted an application in February of this year to establish a tree farm use. That application was processed because it is a use as of right at the property. And the permit was issued to Young's Avenue LLC on April 24th of 2025. In connection with their application, they submitted a letter from a tree farmer, Ironwood Farm LI, which had a Jamesport address, and they have represented that they intend to reestablish the tree farm use. Now, the permit has been issued to the property for less than 2 months at this point. You know, you kind of, in this situation, have to let them, for lack of a better explanation, sort of hang themselves. They have to exceed the scope of the use before we can take action on it. It's sort of like suing someone for having a boarding house in a residential neighborhood before they've actually done it just because we think they're going to do it. We need them to actually violate the terms of their use permit first. I have been in touch with code enforcement on this issue. We're aware of it. We're watching the property. My understanding is that the DEC was there, I believe, 2 weeks ago, checking for their compliance with the Part 361 permit that they do have. I don't have a report from that, but I've asked code enforcement to get that report. If and when it becomes apparent that they are exceeding the scope of the use, and from everything that's been said tonight, I don't have any reason to not believe that they are. Once we've gathered adequate information, evidence, etc., if there comes a time that I would recommend litigation or justice court violations, most likely litigation in this instance, I'll make that recommendation to the town board, and I've already told the town board that. My office is prepared to seek injunctive relief if that's what's required. So, I mean, my message today is not, is essentially that, you know, you've sent complaints, you've sent letters, we are not ignoring them. I'm saying that we need to gather evidence and actually build a case in order for that case to be successful before I can go to court and ask a judge to issue an order enjoining them from using their property in the way that they're representing that they are.
Good evening, Barbara Blas, Jamesport. I wasn't going to actually bring up any of this stuff at this time, but I do want to let you know that I foiled all of the information from the town, 4 departments: engineering, town attorney's office, planning, and who am I forgetting? Building department. I've been looking at that information. That planning department information only came in today. There are things that jump right out at you. I have more questions and concerns now than I did before I foiled for the information. You know, there's representatives saying there's no building that's going to take place at the site, no construction, and why were they issued a building permit with a year to build? There's a lot of
It's a use permit.
But why would the use end after a year?
That's what all the building permits, that's what all the permits, that's what the form says.
I don't want to debate this now because we did talk about having a meeting once I received all the information.
We did.
I believe that meeting now that I have that, I don't have the DEC information, but quite honestly, the DEC is going to give us the Part 360 permit or registration limits and exemptions on ag. There's even information that says they're not selling anything, yet if you read what I read, we're selling from our other location.
That's what they said last year when we first found them doing that at the property, and that's what they had told the DEC. We still issued a stop work order because it wasn't compliant with our zoning.
There are questions, Eric, and I will take the time to map out the timeline and the very specific questions I have because I don't know who issued a waiver for a site plan.
Well, there's no site plan because they're not putting any structures on.
Yes, they are.
The permit specifically says no office, trailer, or
they
parking
show
area without approval.
But the site plan that was submitted that I foiled from the building department has a structure on there. It's an office with parking and overhead. I don't want to be like this here.
They would have to submit a site plan application.
And they have one. And somebody.
Process.
Yeah, Eric, I will show you what's missing here.
Okay.
I will show you what's missing.
That's fine. That's a planning.
That's
analysis.
exactly right.
This permit was issued by the building department.
That is a planning issue, and the use permit is 3 parts. Parts 1, Part 2, and Part 3. That's supposed to come from the planning department. That didn't come from the planning department. It didn't show up at all in the file. It's not there.
When you say Part 3, what is that?
If you go into the building department online forms and you go to use permit, It comes with 3 different applications that you have to fill out to receive a use permit.
Okay.
The third one is a pre-approval from planning, that it does or does not need a site plan. It was never, I didn't receive it from the planning department, and I didn't receive it from the building department. Yet, the site plan submitted by the engineer calls it a site plan application. I believe they need a site plan application.
Well, to make any modifications to the property, they would.
Correct.
But this is just a use permit for agricultural.
Okay, we will have that discussion, and I would hope that others that perhaps are involved in the application could be made available to attend a meeting, because I think there's some serious questions to be answered. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Marvin.
I just have a few questions. We asked some questions, the DEC sent a representative out to the farm. We want to know how many yards, how many tons are they permitted to ship every day? I don't know, but we weigh them. Well, where are the weight tickets? We don't get we don't get to see the weight tickets, right? Then we ask again. They said the trucks are coming out half empty. I've been around trucks my whole life. We don't run down the road half empty. We don't make money that way. The other thing is that we got more logs. That's not landscape debris. Logs like that in the loads. We have plastic in the loads. The day that the horse got hurt, they just left the farm, and a rat was running across our front yard. All right, the rat was completely lost. These animals, they have their scent. He came in on a load, right, and they pushed the load out. Now this guy's running around loose, so he ran across the street where the development is. So we have to get the Board of Health out here to do an inspection and check the loads. I think that's our first step, because that's a violation of their permit. It's supposed to be clean. It's not clean. Clean is clean. No maybes. That's the hand grenades and horseshoes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I just want to add that we did pass some resolutions regarding the parking on Youngs Avenue with the trucks.
Yes.
They are working with us for the trucks not to be parked there in the manner that they have been parked there in the past. They're going to make it so that the trucks can actually pull into Crown Recycling and do their work in there and not be out on the road. There is a section in front of Crown that is somewhat back off of the street that is their property, that they may be able to pull a truck up in there, but trucks should not impede any traffic on Youngs Avenue whatsoever. So we're working on that with them, and they seem to be cooperating rather well with that at this point in time.
And they're also supposed to be using that area for their employees' vehicles to...
And their employees' vehicles, too, that were out there are going to be parked across the street on our property. We have an agreement with them where they do grinding of our yard waste for free if we allow their employees to park across the street. And also, we are going to be working, or I've already spoke with the chief about it, setting up something and making sure that the trucks are not going west on Youngs Avenue. They have no business going there. That's in violation of town code on the highways. So they have to come out, and they have to go out to Osborne down to 58, and that's the route it's going to be.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Justin, do we have anybody online? Okay. Mike, come on up.
Good evening, Mike Foley, Reeves Park. You know, I just wanted to listen because I knew after the Crown fire and with some of the other information that came out from Patriot, I knew there were going to be a lot of neighbors that were going to be around here. And I'm sure you guys are just as stunned about the nosebleeds from the kids as I am. It's a horrible thing. Ken, you spent some time at that fire. Thanks for that. There's no question that there are issues that are across multiple agencies, not only in this town, but in this county and in this state. This is going to be a difficult nut to crack. I think the most important thing that we need to do as a town is to understand the history of this town. For the last 75 years, Things have been dumped here for one reason, because there was a very small population, there was a lot of space, and they were getting away with it. We're at a different time now. You guys are here now. I would like to think that we could coordinate an effort to make sure that the smell stops, to make sure that if Patriot is a bad actor, that it doesn't take 5 years to shut them down, it takes 5 months. And from what I've heard from the town right now, we're going to be keeping a lot of people up on this stuff, and they're going to be getting it to you. Eric, I know you're going to be real busy. I believe you're up for it, and I want you to know that there are people in this town that want to help with this. And certainly count me in that, and let's do what we need to do to stop this bad actor from spreading any farther. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mike. We have anybody else like to come up and talk?
Yeah, good evening, Talkie Church in Greater Calverton, Civic Association President. I want to thank everybody here with the neighbors in Calverton, Baiting Hollow, which is our Greater Calverton civic area, for taking their time away from their families and their time away from their own thoughts and concerns and coming here tonight. I know there's a lot of nervous speakers that came up here, and I definitely relate to that. We recognize that you recognize that this is a grave situation. It's an environmental disaster, and it was totally avoidable. We would request that whatever information is learned by the town attorney's office with the sit down with Barbara Blass and whomever else that is, if you would please share that with us, either as soon as possible or at the next town board meeting, be very appreciated. I will be putting that information out in our e-blast to our neighbors so that they're informed. I'm going to try to do my best on following on tonight's, a little bit of a recap in order for folks to get a sense of the responsiveness of the town board. So we're very thankful, deeply grateful to our firefighters and EMS crews that answered that call. It could have been a much worse situation, and thank you very, very much to all of them, Mr. Rothwell included, for being on site, and Mr. Hubbard for coming on site to Crown. Crown has been operating for years in the wrong, and it's been difficult for the neighbors to swallow. And I did submit a complaint to the DEC. I believe it was on the Friday before the Wednesday 2 a.m. explosion at Crown. And what I was told was that I needed to send in even more photos than I already did, which was an album compiled from the residents. And I'd say there's greater than 40 photos taken from the street of the traffic, but also from the street on site to how they kept their property. It's in disarray. It's been in disarray. But I was told by the DEC on Friday when I opened that complaint that I needed to submit more narrative. So I was expecting a call back from them. I spoke to a gentleman in the Materials Management Division. His name is Mr. Rishi, and he told me that he wasn't the inspector for Crown, that a gentleman named Mr. Perez is. But I guess Mr. Perez wasn't available. I was told I would get a call back from Mr. Perez because he's more familiar with the property. I did get a call back on Tuesday, but it wasn't from Mr. Perez. It was from the same gentleman, Dan Rishi. With no more further information from me, but more requests from me to write narratives on the selected photos that showed concerns, which means I would have to pull back, resubmit, and spend, probably collectively an hour on putting that together. That was a stall tactic. As much as I appreciated the good information I received from him, I should never have been put in that position, and our residents should never have been put in that position. I recognize, Supervisor Hubbard, that you recognize DEC as a disorganized, dysfunctional entity. It's very difficult to deal with them, but we must do our utmost, not in 5 weeks or 5 months, 5 minutes, as much as possible, as fast as possible, without compromising our position. People's health is at stake. You've seen them here tonight, and there's more in the neighborhoods. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Kathy McGraw again, just a quick question. There can't be any dumping there unless there is an operating farm. Do you all have any evidence other than a letter that says they're going to hire this guy to run a farm? Do you have any evidence that there's any farming operation going on there now? And if there isn't, you need to shut them down on dumping. You can get an injunction because they are violating the rules.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any evidence of any
There's
farming?
no evidence that they've exceeded the use permit that was given to them.
The use
Okay.
permit says they're a tree farm.
They're a tree farm.
And you
There-
can't do mulching operations on protected agricultural land unless there is an active farm operation and the dumping is supporting that farm operation.
They're
So
permitted
as a
to-
town, you had an obligation to make sure there was a farming operation before any dumping began. And why don't you just stop if there is no evidence of a farming operation? Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, not seeing anybody else, I'd like to make a motion to close the town board meeting and open up the community development meeting.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Town board meeting is closed. We thank everybody for their comments. And I'm going to ask Joe Mariano to open up the community development meeting.
Good evening, everybody. If I could have a motion to open up the CDA meeting.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Waski,
Yes.
Merrifield,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
The meeting's open. We don't have any actions tonight on the CDA. Are there any members of the public that have any comments?
Do we have anybody who would like to comment on any matter regarding the Community Development Agency?
I'll just comment that you guys did a great job today with the dedication of the historic marker. Thank you for getting the funds of it, and it was greatly appreciated.
Yeah, even though the historic marker was the work of the department, not the CDA, it's a fantastic marker to certainly honor our town's legacy.
Have a good day.
And our work there wouldn't have happened without the support of this whole board. I guess since we have no comments, if I could have a motion to close the CDA meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Waski,
Yes.
Merrifield.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Great job, Joe.
Thank you.
You did a great job. You make a great town clerk.